Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order and Damian Mitchell here with you for the next hour as we have made it to the end of another week and are ready to send you off to what will hopefully be another fantastic spring weekend for many of you. I know it'll be probably a busy one for a lot of you with the Masters going on. I know that'll take up a lot of time there for a number of you. If you're an Alabama fan, you might be headed down to Tuscaloosa tomorrow to take in the A-Day festivities. And then you might be going back next weekend for Morgan Wallen, like Damien. You're going, right?
No. I'm not gonna be able to. I thought you were going.
No.
I thought you. Yeah, I thought I could have sworn you were talking about being in Tuscaloosa back-to-back weekends. Maybe I just misunderstood.
No.
Okay.
I would rather be at what's going on the other side of the state than at the Morgan Wallen concert next weekend.
Okay. But that's because you love Vol, though, so I can understand.
Yep.
I can understand. But no, I could have sworn you said you were going to Morgan Wallen. But hey, maybe I was wrong.
I don't think that I'm going to make it there, but I think there will be tens of thousands of other people that are there, and I'm sure they'll have a fantastic time.
Which crowd do you think is gonna be more?
Morgan Wallen.
I just assumed that it would be the 8A game. It's free admission at the 8A game.
Yeah, but they've already got like half the stadium closed off for the Morgan Wallen concert, so
yeah.
I would think that Morgan Wallen will do quite well for himself next weekend in Tuscaloosa. But before they get there, they have to play the A-Day game tomorrow. So we're going to spend plenty of time talking with that. I know a number of you probably going to be making your way down there, as we just said. So, I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend and hope we can get it started off right for you here on Morning JOX. And no better place to start than there, actually, Damian. Let's start with what's going to be going down in Tuscaloosa tomorrow, because we've been talking about spring camp and trying to keep you up to date with everything that we've been hearing out of Tuscaloosa. But I think again, spring games don't mean what they used to. You're not going to have they couldn't because of what they're doing with the stadium. But it's not like it used to be where you're going to have 100,000 people down there in Tuscaloosa, and it'll be the same way for Auburn next week, right? I will be interested with Auburn, and we'll talk more about that, of course, as we get close to that next Saturday. But with the new coach and, that kind of an intrigue, like you're going to have a lot of people that maybe have a renewed excitement with the program. And now with Alabama, right, you're going into year 3 of Kalen DeBoer. And so it's a little different. And I think a lot of people want to see the quarterbacks, and that'll drive a lot of the interest from, the general population, the general fan base going into tomorrow. But I think there's really a lot of things that are going to be interesting to see from the scrimmage. And again, it's a scrimmage. It's early on. We've got a long ways to go still until the start of the season. And so you want to take everything that you do see and hear from tomorrow with a grain of salt. But I do think a lot of it has to do with the offensive side of the ball, right? I don't think a ton of people, when it comes to defense, there's certainly question marks, right? Like I'll be fascinated to see how the new transfers up front on the defensive line look, because there's some big boys that they got from out west, from Oregon and USC specifically, that have been getting rave reviews in camp, and it'll be great to get to see them finally hit the field for the first time. I think some people want to, get to know the linebacker core a little bit more, because it's going to be new faces, and you've kind of been able to get comfortable the last couple of years with who you were going to see there, and now those are going to be different. I think the secondary, nobody's really worried about that. Maybe you want to see some of the freshmen that have been getting buzz in fall camp, but I think we know that that's going to be one of the more experienced and should be one of the better secondaries in the country this year. But on offense, I think that's where a lot of the intrigue, and again, right, it's flashier. That's what people tend to gravitate to anyways. But I do think that on the offense, essentially every single position group has some intrigue that goes along with it. And it starts with the quarterbacks, obviously, and what you get to see from Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, because, you've heard, and I know Kalen DeBoer, he was on ESPN yesterday, and one of the things that he kind of touched on was, you heard after the second scrimmage, they didn't have a great day, right? The quarterbacks didn't look as sharp as maybe they have in the earlier parts of spring. I know Austin Mack had a couple of turnovers that were mentioned in that, and he kind of clarified it, not to say, it's not that they were terrible or anything. It's just they've been playing at such a high level the rest of the spring that when they, kind of didn't meet that mark. It was a little surprising, not in the sense of, I mean, you have these, these ups and downs throughout spring camp, but it was more so an indication of, not like they've been terrible, but they've been really, really good, and they just had an off day. Um, but he also kind of, did the spin of, well, it's kind of a good thing too, right? Because it's great when you have confidence and when you're on a roll, you're playing hot, you're playing free, and you're not overthinking things. That's what you want out of them. But there's going to be adversity at times in the season, and you want to see them go through that at times in the off season as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what you get from both of them yesterday or tomorrow. The division of reps seems to be pretty 50-50 so far through spring. So I would assume it would be similar tomorrow. But I think just getting to see these guys in some live action, because I mean, you got to see Keelan Russell in garbage time a little bit last year. You got to see Austin Mack in garbage time, a little bit more. But, now that they're running with the ones, what does that look like? So I think that'll obviously be what gets a lot of people's attention tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you're really into, if you love ball, you'll understand this. But I think the trenches are going to be important. To at least one, if you're defensively, kind of see what the depth is going to look like, because you're not going to get the full picture. But I do think establishing and making an effort to run the football, and with the bevy of backs that Alabama has and all the changeover we've seen on the offensive line, I'm interested to see what it looks like. Because again, there's only so much you're really going to learn with the quarterbacks in a spring setting, because they're not live, but also you just want to see their command of the huddle. And I'm with you. I think every position group has a few pieces, and there are a few question marks for a lot of guys. Offensive line, for example, it's, what are the starting five? You may not have it completely answered, but I do think that you'll be able to kind of separate a little bit now that the bullets are flying. Really and truly, how many plays do we get from Ryan Coleman Williams? And how many does he catch every pass that's thrown to him? Because I do think that a lot of people are going to look at him and see, okay, well, let's make sure he's out of this sophomore slump. Do they go over the top? Do they switch him, put him in different spots at the receiver, in the receiver room, in the formation? Latsier Brooks, does he continue to develop? And even some of the younger guys that are coming up. So I think there are a lot of pieces offensively that it's going to be interesting to see what the makeup is going to look like. What is the running back rotation going to look like? And is there an emphasis of, oh, no, we're going to run the football? So I think defensively, to your point, too, the secondary, you got a lot of experience back there. Are they going to, mix up some coverages? I'm ready to see what the quarterbacks look like as far as the command of the huddle, the efficiency of the offense of just, okay, they're settling, quote unquote, settling for the check down. Like, they're not trying to force anything, or they're going to be taking calculated risk. Because I do think you can kind of get a glimpse of that. And we know that these guys are more elusive than Ty Simpson was. Plays break down. Are they going to be able to, to use their legs when they see a lane, get what they can get, because we know that they're not live. But I'm with you. I think there's going to be some takeaways, but we still may have some discussions leading into the fall. But it's actually going to be okay to kind of just see what it's all going to look like, as far as the order of operation, especially with the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of intrigue, and you hit on a lot of that. Offensive line is going to be a big one there, and I think they feel really good about 6 or 7 guys that are going to be able to rotate in and out. It's just kind of what order does that go? I mean, I think the tackle spots, I think you feel really good right now about 4 in terms of the starters, with what you're going to get in Lloyd, Delgatti, Michael Carroll, and then Javen James, the transfer from Mississippi State, who's been getting a lot of praise here lately. And then it's kind of who fills in to that last guard spot, right? Because you've got, is it going to be Ethan Fields? Is it going to be Nick Brooks? And you haven't really heard as much about, like a Ty Haywood, who was a guy coming out of high school just a year ago that was, one of the best offensive line recruits in the country. You got Strayhorn coming over as well from Michigan. So, again, you've got a lot of new faces and names to get acquainted with. And with that, the running back room and, I'd be interested to know as well, what are you going to get in terms of, is Kevin Riley going to be kind of the RB1 tomorrow? Is it going to be Daniel Hill because it seems like those are the two guys that have stood out the most. But this is the kind of setting too where like does AK Deer like pop off and have a big run and kind of show you, okay, well that's why you got to see him get on the field a little bit more last year, is because they can see he's the kind of guy, you get the ball in his hands, you never know what might happen. But continuing to develop when it comes to pass protection, and again the little details that go with playing that position outside of just toting the rock. That's going to be interesting to see. And then some of the new receivers, right? Like Noah Rogers coming over. He was like the star of scrimmage number 2, from what I was told. And he was the guy that kind of stood out. Ryan Coleman Williams, sorry. Going to make that mistake a lot. He had 3 touchdowns on the first scrimmage, right? You get to see a little bit of those flashes tomorrow, and he looks like the player that you thought you were going to get last year. And I think tight end's very interesting as well, because what you're replacing with Cuevas, but you've got some really young guys that are super talented. I think Caleb Edwards is kind of at the top of that list right now, and we know how important that position can be, not only from a blocking perspective, helping in the run game, but how dynamic that can make the passing game. And quarterbacks love their tight ends, especially when you got a first-time quarterback. You want to have that security blanket there as well. So, again, a lot of intrigue, a lot of different new faces and players to get to know tomorrow as the spring game will kick off for Alabama. So it's going to be at 1 o'clock. That's when things are going to kick off. The gates will open at Bryant-Denny at 12 if you want to get there for that. They're going to do the Walk of Champions or Walk of Fame ceremony there with the captains at 11 a.m. So you're going to have Parker Brailsford, Tim Keenan, Deontay Lawson, and Ty Simpson. They're going to be back in Tuscaloosa to participate in that. And then it'll be a 2-hour scrimmage running from 1 o'clock to about 3. And it'll be in the traditional style of what you're used to seeing there for a A-Day game going back a couple of years now. So, but as we mentioned, going to be a little bit different there in the stadium. It's going to be all lower bowl seating. So again, it'll be about half capacity, something like that. I don't think it'll fill up, but I do think there'll be a healthy crowd there, especially going to be nice weather going on in Tuscaloosa as well, we expect. So should be a lot of fun, and that'll be kind of the first time you get to see a glimpse of this new team, this new look Alabama team going into the fall. And a lot of people have asked throughout the week. It is not going to be televised. So if you're not down there, you'll have to wait for social media videos, things like that, and all the buzz to come out after the scrimmage once people are able to see it with their own eyes. But we'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Are there anything in particular that you're the most excited for, to learn, to see for Alabama tomorrow? If you're going to go down there, we'd love to hear from you what your expectations are for the festivities in Tuscaloosa, as Alabama will wrap up the spring with A-Day coming up tomorrow again at 1 p.m. But we also have the Masters going on day 2, about to tee off there in Augusta. We'll give you a quick update on what's going on there. And didn't have this one on my bingo card, but an international superstar is going to be on the plains of Auburn in the near future. We'll tell you more about that next here on JOX. Day 2 in Augusta getting underway here in about 20 minutes as the first golfers will tee off there from the beautiful golf course in Augusta for the Masters. And it was a great first day yesterday. Expect that to continue throughout the weekend here as golf's biggest event continues on. And we'll give you a leaderboard update here in just a moment. But a quick reminder that three-man front, they were at Twin Peaks yesterday from 10 to 2, and we will be back today from 10 to 2. So yesterday it was Pat Landrum and Molly out there. Know a lot of great Jocks listeners made it out there, got a nice little photo op and had a lot of fun. And we hope that you'll join us again today as myself, Pat and Landrum, will be out there for 4 hours. And you never know, you might get a special appearance from one Damian Mitchell like you did yesterday. You had people asking for autographs, asking for pictures, you kissing babies, all that.
Yeah, man.
All that stuff, right? All the pageantry.
Yeah, it's the first time some people have seen me since the whole Wheel of Fortune thing.
Yeah, I know.
Had to.
You had to big time some people.
No, I just the yesterday's price is not today's price anymore. Just it kind of just comes.
They make you sign something when you win the show and.
Yeah, the per diem kind of bumps up a little bit. Different tax bracket, so it's different over there. It's different.
Well, if you want a picture with Damien, just come over, talk to me, and I'll try to see what I can do for you.
See if we can work out like gift certificates.
See if I can help something out, or we'll just take a picture of you. You put your arm up, and we'll Photoshop Kevin Hart in there or something. And it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be great. All right, but in all seriousness, I hope appreciate everyone that came out yesterday to support Jocks, and hope some of you can make it out again today. It should be a lot of fun there from Twin Peaks and Hoover from 10 until 2. But your quick leaderboard update before we move on to other things. At the top right now, you have a tie at 5 under. So the defending champion, Rory McIlroy, he's sitting there at 5 under, along with Sam Burns. So they are, again, their 67s yesterday, the top scorers of the day there in Augusta. You have a trio there at 3 under with Kurt Kitayama, Jason Day, and Patrick Reed. So they're all right there tied for 3rd. You have at 2 under Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, Justin Rose, and everyone's favorite Scotty Scheffler. So that's a very competitive grouping right there in the top. The top 9 or 10 golfers from yesterday there. Continuing on, you've got Hao Tong Lee, sorry. Not familiar with his game, I'll be honest with you. But he is the Chinaman. He is 1 under, tied at 10 under, or tied at for 10th, excuse me. You have Nick Taylor there at 1 under, Tommy Fleetwood, Brian Campbell, Aaron Rye, Jacob Bridgman, and Gary Woodland. They're all there tied at 1 under on the day. And scrolling down, some of the other popular names, Jordan Spieth and Koepka, they're both even right now. Justin Thomas, the Alabama boy, he is also even par as he enters day 2. Let's see, Dustin Johnson's 1 over, Cam Smith, Matt Fitzpatrick, Colin Morikawa, they're all 2 over. Ludwig Oberg, he is also 2 over. Victor Hovland, 3 over. And Bryson DeChambeau, using the 3D printed 5-iron that he was talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
He's 4 over. So,
all right. Not the best start.
Maybe we go back to normal clubs. John Rahm, he's a former winner. He's a big name. He is 6 over.
Okay.
Not a great start for him there. And wrapping up the list at the very bottom, tied for 90th at 12 over, Aldrich Potgieter. I'm probably saying that wrong. So you have a 17-stroke difference between first place and somebody that will not be making the cut. But hey, they get they got to play.
Yeah,
more than I'll ever do at Augusta, to say the least there. So that's your Masters update again. First tee time's coming up at 6:40, so just about 17 minutes from now, day 2 will get underway there from Augusta. But moving on, we told you before the break, coming back, that there was going to be an international superstar on the plains of Auburn here in the near future. And if you've been eagerly holding your breath for the last 5 minutes or so, don't worry. I'm about to tell you exactly who it is. And a lot of you are probably going to be maybe excited. I don't know. Soccer's not a big thing here, but maybe this will be the start, right? Maybe this will be the moment that people start to go, you know what, I'm going to I like football, so I'm gonna start liking football as well, right?
The original football.
That's right, exactly. But Auburn announced yesterday that Jordan Hare, they're going to host a friendly match on June the 9th between Argentina and Iceland in preparation for the World Cup. And if you know anything about soccer, then you probably know where this is going. But there is a very famous player that has proudly represented the country of Argentina for many, many years, and that would be one Lionel Messi. And it was announced yesterday that he will be participating in this event. And so he will be on the plains of Auburn coming up in about 2 months there on June the 9th. Now, we'll see if he's going to actually play in the World Cup when that comes up. But it was announced yesterday that he is going to be a part of the exhibition and he will be there participating in the event. So I know a lot of people there. And again, I'm just letting you know, like, this is the kind of event where you would have people from all over the country that would want to come to this event, and they would want to go to Auburn, Alabama, to just have an opportunity to see Lionel Messi with their own two eyeballs. Like, that is how big when we talk about, I don't know if we've talked about it before on this show, but think of the most famous athlete you can in American culture, you know, LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, whoever comes to mind for you, you're like, that's the most famous athlete in America. Lionel Messi is infinitely more popular than that person. And I know that maybe that doesn't register the same way for us, but on an international scale, I mean, this is like having the Beatles come to Auburn back in their heyday. So it's awesome. It'll be a very cool event. Again, it's going to have a lot of people maybe expanding their horizons, getting to see something that they wouldn't normally see, and anything to promote the great state of Alabama and the plains of Auburn. I think it's an absolute win, and just the fact that they were able to get this event because of the facilities they have at Jordan Hare and the opportunities that offers. That's why you're seeing this being played, and it's like, oh, why would they play that in Auburn, or why would they be playing in Alabama in general? It's because of the field and the facilities that they have there at Jordan Hare that have made this such an attractive option for both Argentina and Iceland. So, going to be very, very cool. Again, coming up on June the 9th. The World Cup will begin exactly 1 week after that in Kansas City. So it'll be a nice tune-up there for the World Cup. And again, I think there's a lot of people out there that will say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'll go see Messi. Yeah, why not?
I'm telling you.
What else do I have going on that day?
Like you said, it's like when you talk about international superstar, it's pretty, like, that's a good draw. Like, I know it's unique, but I do think that this little college tour that they're on, because they're going to College Station too in Texas A&M.
Yep.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool because I think when you look at just, that's a day in the summer where you're going to be able to pretty much come close, if not sell out in Jordan Hare for, it's not a football event, like an American football event, but you're seeing one of the biggest stars in the world, and just kind of see him do his thing. And just to say, like, hey, I got a chance to see Messi. Like, again, arguably one of the greatest to ever do it in the sport. You get a chance to see him, and he's going to be affiliated. He's going to be there. So I think I think it'll be a fun opportunity, and also for people that kind of like me. Like, I don't just sit here and know soccer, but if an opportunity comes up and somebody has a ticket and they say, "Damn, you want to come on and watch Messi?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll show up. I'll be there." But I think this is a cool event, especially here in the state of Alabama. Get all eyes on us for a little bit and have fun, man. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in going, tickets are going to start at $45. They're going to go on sale on the 15th of April. So that would be, let me do the quick math in my head, next Wednesday? And you can find those. So tickets on sale next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central Time, and you can get those at road226.com. And so that's kind of the, I guess, the event that they're hosting, that it's going to include the game in College Station and some of these other high-profile matches that are going on before the World Cup. So next Wednesday, 9 a.m., road226.com to get early access to tickets as well. $45 is going to be the starting price there if you want to go see Messi at Jordan Hare Stadium. So that's some big news going on there. While we're on the topic of Auburn, though, it's a great time to remind you that coming up in about 5 hours exactly, at 11:30 today, Alex Golish, the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, he's going to be on three-man front. So we'll be at Twin Peaks for day 2 of the Masters, and we will be chatting it up with Alex Golish, the headman there at Auburn, to get his thoughts on spring practice so far, as 1 week left for the Auburn Tigers, and they will be having their spring game next Saturday after Alabama gets theirs done tomorrow. So make sure you set your clocks and get ready for that coming up later this morning, because that's going to be a fun conversation with the new coach there at Auburn. Excited to get a chance to talk to him and kind of pick his brain about what this season will look like there for the Tigers. But we appreciate y'all. A lot of your texts coming in, 205-834-9450 on the text line, as well as the phone line as we move along here on a Friday. You're listening to Jocks. .33 here on your Friday morning. Conrad and Damian with you on Morning JOX. Appreciate you spending your morning with us here as we get you set for the weekend. Alabama A-Day coming up tomorrow. down in Tuscaloosa. That'll be a 1 o'clock kick for the scrimmage. It'll be a 2-hour scrimmage from 1 until 3. Festivities get going at 11 a.m. With the Walk of Fame. You're going to have last year's captains. So you're going to have Brailsford, Keenan, Lawson, and good old Ty Simpson. He'll be down there. They'll all be down there with Coach Kalen DeBoer as they honor last year's team and kind of pass the torch to this year's squad. Gates are going to open at 12 o'clock in Bryant-Denny. It is free admission, so you don't have to worry about buying a ticket or anything like that. And then the scrimmage will start at 1 o'clock. And just another reminder for anybody that's wondering, it will not be televised. So if you want to see it with your own 2 eyes, you're going to need to be down there in Tuscaloosa. But that'll be a lot of fun. And I know some of you have been chiming in with your thoughts on the scrimmage, and we will get to those coming up a little bit later on in the program. Day 2 of the Masters, they're about to tee off 5 minutes from now as things will get going there from Augusta. But we're going to have a little more fun this morning. Damian says he wants to kind of throw a curveball my way, and we'll get to that in just a second and kind of have a fun college football conversation like we did yesterday. But a couple of headlines before we get to that. So looking at the basketball portal quickly, the big news yesterday, I guess, around these parts, you had Filip Jovic from Auburn. He has now committed to UCLA. So he's going to go from the plains of Auburn to Los Angeles and play for the most miserable man in college basketball, in Mick Cronin. And I'll just say, if they paid him the $2 million that his agent was asking for, good for him.
Yeah.
Kudos to him for – now that $2 million doesn't go quite as far there as it would here, but, you know, if someone is going to pay what you're asking for, then more power to you. So
and Mick Cronin. Go from Stephen Pearl to Mick Cronin.
Yeah.
Culture shock. That's going
to be a little bit
shock.
different, I
think.
think.
Oh, my gosh.
Going to be a little bit different there, but I
Stay on his good side.
But Mick Cronin, I mean, he said during the middle of the season that he wanted some, I can't remember the exact phrase he used, but basically he wanted some big, nasty vodka-drinking Europeans on his roster. And, well.
Seems like he fits the mold.
Yeah, I mean, he's an international player, so yeah, sure. Right. I don't know if he's a vodka guy. I wonder if does like the change if you find out they're like a vodka cranberry guy. Does that mean you're like, that doesn't really count? Like that's kind of like, yeah, Coach, I like Red Bull vodka. Yeah, that's what I'm into. That's not really what I was looking for. I was looking for like straight from the bottle, like brush your teeth with it, kind of Europeans. But we'll see how that fares for Filip Jovic there as he transfers to UCLA. Aiden Sherrill. So we talked about this a little bit on 3-Man Front, but I guess early in the afternoon yesterday, there were reports coming out of Tuscaloosa that he had not officially entered the transfer portal yet, which made you like, okay, like that's maybe optimistic that he's going to come back to Tuscaloosa. Well, then last night he goes in the portal with a no contact tag, and I think the easiest way to respond to that would be Google a picture of what the Welcome to Michigan sign looks like, and that'll probably tell you all that you need to know. So I could be wrong on that, but it seems like that's the easy assumption to make right now is that he would maybe be going up there to join Dusty May's squad and the defending national champions. That's been the hot buzz surrounding Aiden Sherrill. But when you go in with a no contact tag, we all know what that means. You typically have a pretty good idea of where you're going to end up, and that's where the early money is going, I would say, is up there to Ann Arbor. So we will see what progresses there with Aiden Sherrill. And speaking of Michigan, they had a nice day yesterday because they brought back Elliot Cadeau, the most outstanding player from the NCAA tournament. So they get their point guard back from their national championship winning team. They got J.P. Estrella from Tennessee. So, I mean, imagine that. Like, you got your point guard, you got your center. Now you've got Aiden Sherrill. He can come in and play the 4 like he supposedly wants to a little more of. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, like on paper, that's
about $10 million, and you're gonna have a great chance to go and repeat the success of this season. So that's kind of the big news coming out there. And then finally, getting away from basketball and back to football here for a second. I saw this yesterday. We're gonna have 3 players from the state of Alabama attending the NFL draft. So that's cool because you're going to have 3 guys that I think 2 of them feel really good about their I feel really good about 2 of them having their name called on day 1. The third one, based on the information that he's getting, I assume you wouldn't go to the draft if you didn't think that you were going to be a first-round pick, but I'm sure Will Levis thought he was going to be a first-round pick a couple years ago too, and we just got to see his hot girlfriend for 3 hours instead. Just being honest there. But you have Ty Simpson and Caden Proctor for Alabama. They're going to be attending the draft in Pittsburgh, so they'll be representing the Tide. And then Keldrick Falk, he will be there as well for the Auburn Tigers. So again, I think Proctor and Falk feel really, really good. Like, barring some crazy change, they're going to be drafted. And then Ty Simpson, if somebody falls in love with him, and look, I'm not going to be surprised at all if he is a first-round pick. I think that somebody ultimately will, whether it's somebody taking a chance on him late in the first round or somebody drafting or trading back into the end of the first round to select him, like Arizona or the Jets or somebody like that needs a quarterback. I do think that ultimately will happen, but, always running a little bit of risk when you're in the conversation that's going on with Ty Simpson here lately. So that's kind of your headline there. But with that being said, that out of the way, Damian, let's have a little fun. I understand you have a scenario or a question that you were pondering last night.
Yeah, kind of going back to yesterday and something that we had some fun with of the collection of players, the trio, a running back, a quarterback, and a receiver. Just again in college football, and it's kind of who would you take? And I think I've got 3 that you have to choose from. You only choose one, Connor, right? So let's get this thing started.
All right.
Number 1, the first choice. You can have Pat White, Mark Ingram, and Justin Jefferson. In Group 2.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
God, dude, I love Pat White. Okay.
Group 2, you have Vince Young,
okay,
Dylan Sampson, and Devontae Smith.
Oh.
In Group 3, you have Kyle Trask, Derrick Henry, and AJ Green.
All right, Kyle Trask, Derrick Henry, and AJ Green.
Yeah. So the first group again: Pat White, Mark Ingram, Justin Jefferson. Group 2, Vince Young, Dylan Sampson, Devontae Smith. Group 3, Kyle Trask, Derrick Henry, AJ Green. Yeah. Gotta keep you on your toes, brother.
Okay, I will say I have to put aside the fact that outside of growing up watching Alabama games with my family, I'll be honest with you, and if you mad because it's not an Alabama player, the first player that I remember being a kid and absolutely falling in love with watching him play was Pat White.
Yes, sir.
I loved, when I was a kid, if I couldn't root for Alabama, I would have been a West Virginia fan all day. Him and Steve Slayton,
couldn't stop it.
I loved Pat White. He was awesome. He's one of my all-time favorite college football players. But with that being said, I think that's the easiest group for me to probably eliminate.
What?
Yeah.
With Mark Ingram and Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, and look, okay, Mark Ingram was great, won a Heisman Trophy, did a lot of great stuff. He was a really great player. I don't want to say anything too negative.
Oh boy, I can read between the tea leaves, brother.
He was a really great player, but
man won a Heisman. The first one.
He did. And for that, I thank him. I'm forever grateful for that. He was really, really good. Don't get me wrong. He was really, really good. But you've got a group with Derrick Henry and AJ Green, and then another group with Vince Young. And look, I love Justin Jefferson. He was great at LSU, even if he got overshadowed a little bit by how great Jamar Chase was. I think, again, as good as he was at LSU, he's better now.
That's fair.
So it would probably be between the last 2 groups for me. But man, that's so tough because, if we had, and I know you obviously this is why you didn't do it because I would have picked it. But if you flip Pat White and Kyle Trask, I would have taken that.
Yeah.
I would take that'd be a pretty easy one for me. But I can't. And again, Dylan Sampson was really, really good at Tennessee a couple years ago. And he was the best running back in the SEC that year, or his last year at Tennessee.
He's paired up with the Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith.
I know. I think that you get. I know, but the size of AJ Green, man,
I'm telling you,
he was so good.
He was
so good. But I do think with that one, I think I would have to take the middle grouping because I think you get obviously you get the best quarterback. Like nothing against Pat White and Kyle Trask, they were great. Especially love you, Pat. They were really good. Vince Young is one of the greatest college football players of all time. Like you can't not take.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my thing, and that's why it was hard. You know, when I was coming up with the years yesterday, because I'm like, I feel like if you put Cam Newton in one, you put Joe Burrow in one, you put like Tebow in one, like you kind of almost have to pick that one, or you'd have to do all of them like in separate because. Like, how are you going to say no to that? Like, and that's my thing with Vince Young is like Dylan Sampson would be the weak link of that group, and he still was fantastic at Tennessee. But yeah, you're telling me I get one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game of college football and one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the game of college football. Oh yeah, and a guy that led the SEC in rushing is like, oh yeah, I guess I'll take him too. I feel I would have to go with that one.
I'm not even gonna lie. I thought you were gonna pick Group 3.
Just because of Derrick Henry?
Absolutely.
I don't have crimson glasses on today, Damien.
I see.
Well, no, I guess I do. I still got Devontae. But I was going to have to pick an Alabama guy anyways because there was one of those in all the groups. But, yeah, I mean, I can't say – you can't –
That was a little bit tougher than I thought it was going to be.
It was, but, like, I can't say no to Vince Young.
Understandable.
Like –
Understandable.
He's too good, man. He's too good. Now, Tennessee Titans, Vince Young.
Hey, Rookie of the Year, baby.
He was Rookie of the Year. He was on the cover of Madden.
Exactly. We had some good times.
He had a lot of good times.
Yeah.
Off the field.
Come on, man. You know, it's something about those Titans quarterbacks, man. I don't know what it is about Nashville, but sometimes it gets the best of them.
I didn't know they were known for their nightlife like that. Now, like the bars and stuff, yeah, but
hey, he's a Texas kid. You threw him in Nashville, Tennessee. Crazy things bound to happen.
Yeah, well, they did.
They did.
Yeah, man, I went to my dad just randomly here. My dad lived in Nashville for a lot of my life growing up, and so I remember one summer when I was up there with him. It was the year that the Titans drafted Vince Young. He was a big Titans fan, and we went to training camp. And I got a Vince Young jersey, and I was there like his first practice with the Titans.
Let's go.
Because I had like bought in. I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Like,
so you're still a Titans fan?
Titans are gonna be so good. No, I'm a Falcons fan now. I have to be. Unfortunately, I was a Dolphins fan the last few years, and now I have to be a Falcons fan for my boy Tua. But yeah, I was there like the first time he was on the practice field with the Titans. I had my jersey and. I was ready to rock it with him, and I mean that first season it was a lot of fun, and
yeah, it happens.
It happens to the best of us, right?
Yeah, it only took him about a decade or so to get Marcus Mariota to get things back in line.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, because we had Jake Locker, and we had some string of quarterbacks. Matt Hasselbeck at one point in time was our starting quarterback.
Yeah, you had
Zach
Mettenberger. Yep.
Yeah. We've seen better days.
I was more of a Kerry Collins guy personally when I was.
Hey, he was tough.
Man, they won what, like 14 games with him? Well, that was the year Chris Johnson ran for like 2,000 yards.
But somebody had to hand them the ball off.
That's right.
Shout out to Kerry Collins.
Shout out to Kerry Collins. All right, that was good. That was a lot of fun. A lot of people here had have their thoughts on Damien's question as well. And so we'll get to your texts, your phone calls as well. 205-834-9450. As we put a bow on things here at the Friday edition of Morning JOX. Final few moments here on Morning JOX as we hand you off to McElroy and Kublik in the morning coming up at 7 o'clock. Appreciate you joining us all week long here on the program. And, of course, we'll be back Monday with you at 6 a.m. to recap what went down at Augusta, as somebody will be donning the green jacket there on Sunday afternoon. We'll also have plenty of highlights, recaps, all that good stuff from A-Day down in Tuscaloosa for the Alabama Crimson Tide, year 3 under Kalen DeBoer there in Tuscaloosa. And we'll be getting you ready for Auburn spring game, as that will be taking place 1 week from tomorrow there on the Plains. But now we got to get to your text and your phone calls as well, 205-834-9450. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Train, because spring weather in Alabama is oftentimes unpredictable, but you can always rely on a Train home comfort system. And during their Spring Unstoppable event, you can receive up to a $1,350 rebate on select Train home comfort systems. Learn more and find a comfort specialist near you today at train.com. All right, to the text line we go here. And we will get to some of your comments on the question Damien just asked me with the different groupings of college football players. Who would we take overall? And Bama Hater, he chimes in with two. So he asked you, Damien, he says, is there a better skill position trio in college football than Darian Mensah, Mark Fletcher, and Malachi Toney for Miami this upcoming year? That's a good one.
It may be. Because Ole Miss has two of the three. They got Trinidad and Kejuan Lacey. But I feel as though the way the system's set up, you could throw any receiver out there, they'll be okay. But I don't think they'll be as good as Malachi Toney is.
See, and that was where I was like maybe Ohio State was saying and Jeremiah Smith and Bo Jackson, but Bo Jackson's not as good as Mark Fletcher right now.
Yeah, so. Maybe Miami.
I think there's a strong argument for that.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. Let's see. He says, my question, or he said to answer Damien's question, my all-time group would be Cam Newton, Frank Gore, and Odell Beckham. Okay, well.
Okay. I don't think any of those were choices, but, I feel you.
No, I think he was playing his own game, and I don't know. Who knows there? Drake chimes in. He says, Sumwall strikes again, landing one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Yeah, it's getting hot down there in the swamp, man. He's doing a great job. This one says, how do y'all feel about renovations at Jordan-Hare Stadium? Man, the renderings I saw looked really, really cool. They're going to have that new entertainment center in the north end zone area, I think. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah, you had to get Cam Coleman off the book so we could start building it up.
That's right. It looks really, really nice. Someone says there's already tickets on StubHub for the Argentina-Iceland game in Jordan-Hare. It's $400. Okay. Well, I would go through the Road to 26 website where they're going to start at $45
right.
If that's going to be an option there. Someone says Messi at Auburn is going to be so rad. He is an absolute legend.
For sure.
That's what I'm talking about. This one says, good morning, guys. That first segment is what I'm talking about. Talking ball and getting me ready for the upcoming season. Fire emoji. We appreciate you joining us. We're back Monday at 6. See you at Twin Peaks. Back.